Carl and Lou here from Brrraaains A Head-Banging Life, gbhblofficial for short. And it's a quick return from Damnation Festival as we're going to talk you through our experience. The first time we've ever attended the Damnation Festival up in Leeds. Travelled up from London, similar to how I did Slam Dunk a few months ago, similar to how we did the Badger Fest in October, and again in November for Damnation. Was an enlightening experience. I think overall, starting the sort of review and talk off with the most simple, straightforward thing. We just did enjoy it.
Yeah.
Did have a good time.
Yeah.
Really liked it. Saw a lot of great bands. Not as many as we would have liked, but we'll get into reasons as to why that might have been the case overall. But then that's always the case. You know, we're looking at the Clash Finder beforehand. And it's like, oh, we'll see this band, and whatever. And it's like, well, these bands all clash, so that's not going to happen. Oh, we can go from one stage to the other. We'll be quick and maybe watch half of one band, half another, and then we're reading online and stuff like that. That isn't something that's just possible. And we're like, well, it can't be that bad. It can't be that this. Or, oh, get to this stage early because we've packed and you won't be able to see shit. And we're like, I can't be that bad. And it's like, it is. It's kind of true.
It was quite a good year an interesting year to go because it's the last one that's going to be held in Leeds.
Yeah, of course. Damnation next year is taking place at going to Manchester out of Leeds. I remember Memoriam mentioning that during their set and getting a resounding lot of boos. When Carcass mentioned it though, no, there was not as many boos, so maybe different crowds feeling different things there.
It's weird because obviously if you've been going as like a hardcore since the beginning, and like you know the ins and outs of Leeds Student Union, and it's your little home from like you love it being there. Must be like, oh, change. And obviously, like we were saying, if you're not local, like if you're local to Leeds, going to Manchester for something isn't as convenient
of course.
as it is at the moment. But from what I can see this year, it'd be quite interesting to see bigger rooms.
Clearly growth, clearly it's grown in size. I mean, it has, of course it has. And it's obviously outgrown the Leeds Student Union. It's hard for me to say or judge because this is the first time we've been there. So it's hard to be like, oh, well, last year and so on and this or the year before that. And it's so much bigger now than it was before.
We found out Slam Dunk used to be...
Yeah, I mean, that was an incredible thing. I didn't know that, but got told Slam Dunk used to take place there. And it's like, how?
Yeah.
Like, how?
Yeah.
And maybe that's eventually what will be exactly the same thing with Damnation, where you look back and go, how the hell did they ever manage to keep it there for so long, considering the size? Obviously, this was a holdover from 2020, COVID times and things like that, and the lineup had changed quite drastically. Featured predominantly now with the cream, the best of British rock and heavy metal, and that really reflected across the board.
They may have sold more. Because I bought tickets for Damnation just because we'd never been something like that before. And obviously after like COVID, all the lockdowns and restrictions, we're like, let's just try and go to everything.
Yeah.
Let's try and go to something new, which could have been a lot of extra people. Because I think I've seen quite a lot of posts on the forum saying that was their first time. So we can't be alone in that thinking of like, let's just try something new. And it boosted it.
Yeah, absolutely. It was completely sold out for quite a while as well. And they did the night before Damnation Salvation, the night before an extra special show. It seemed to be very, very popular. And a lot of bands across four stages. Now, I'm not going to tell you about every leg of our journey, but some of it's important to why we didn't see certain bands and things like that. We travelled up from London the morning of Saturday. So we got to Leeds about 12:20.
Yeah.
And walked to our hotel, hoping we were going to be able to check in early because we were lucky enough to be able to do that. So we were able to dump our bags and then go literally straight to the Union. We were hoping to get there for Mountain Caller, but once we started walking, it's about 20-minute walk, 20-minute walk. We were like, we're not going to be able to get in. There's a queue to get your wristband, and even then we were like, well, what do we do when we get inside? We didn't know, and we kind of took the stance of, well, look, we don't know what we're doing. We don't know where we are. We've been to gigs loads, but this, we've read enough things that this is a little bit different, a little bit unusual. So at best, we decided we'll take a relaxed approach to it. We won't get stressy about it. If we miss a band, we miss a band because of whatever. I will admit that went out the window, the relaxed approach within the first half hour, because we were baffled.
Yeah.
We were very fucking confused. When we went in and went into this big old hall. And it's all just merch and stuff like that, which I absolutely fucking loved. I said to you last night, I say it again, fucking love this. where it's just like this as well. The merch is nice, big open area. All the bands are selling their shit. It's just great. It feels fair. It feels right.
Yeah.
But we stood there and we're looking around and it's fairly busy and all that. And we're like,
where do we go?
Where do we go?
We just ended up walking somewhere.
Like, we didn't have a clue. We couldn't see anything. Like a signpost that was like, stages this way, stages that way, stages that way.
Yeah, which is weird because they had a big old set-up screen with all the times and Damnation Festival.
We were
in the main
absolutely baffled. And we were like, where do we go? And we sort of noticed the direction of traffic, crowd-wise. Because we had heard a band playing, that was the thing as well. It was Mountain Caller. And now knowing what I know afterwards, I realised we were standing next to a Mountain Caller playing.
Oh.
So that was quite annoying. But we saw the direction of traffic all heading down the stairs. If you know the Union, you know what we're talking about, heading down the stairs from the main entrance. And we were like, okay, let's head down that way. So we went down there, and it was like, oh, there's an open door. And there's a band playing. It was Cryptic Shift.
Yeah.
But it was like high balcony. And it was quite busy, and we were like, okay, well, let's go, maybe it goes further down. Yeah. So we went down another set of stairs, and then arrived at what was a mid-balcony. Yeah. And we were like, how the fuck did we get to the bottom part? Again, because it was so busy, we couldn't see that the fact there were stairs that led down. We saw that after the fact. We were genuinely like, how? And we were like, oh, we must go down another set of stairs. Yeah. We went down this last set of stairs and emerged in a fucking new stage. Yeah.
Ended up staying there for a little bit.
And we were so confused. Yeah. We were like, where is the other two? You spent ages telling me that was the main stage. And I'm like, no, it's not.
And I was like, it's not a big festival. And I was like, oh no, the main stage is bigger, a lot bigger.
Carcass were going to be playing that. Do you know what I mean? Like, they weren't playing that one. And then... So we ended up on the Cult Never Dies stage. But without knowing it was the Cult Never Dies stage, eventually, through our eyes adjusting to the darkness, we saw Cult written on the backdrop. And we're like, okay, we know where that one is. Like, we know where that is. That's a start.
I don't think it helped that we got there fairly soon after the doors opened.
Yep.
So obviously, if we're new to it, there's a lot of people that don't know where they're going. I think we just kind of got caught up in the track of everyone settling in, going to their first bands. So I don't think that helped either. The fact that it was just like...
You say that, but then there were bands playing.
Yeah.
So there was that as well. Yeah. So I don't think it was quite as bad as no bands playing. Yeah. So we ended up staying there thinking, okay, well, here... We got a drink. We did find that big, lovely bar area around the back, which I adored. The terrace area, the outdoors, lovely big area, fantastic. We'll get to bars in a bit because I think that's going to be another criticism of mine of the experience more than anything else. Yeah. But yeah, we had a drink and we're like, okay, cool, let's stay here. Abduction are on, and it was like, what that Cult Never Die stage? I'm going to be honest with you. I think it's the worst stage. Yeah. Even though it featured so many bands I wanted to see, during Abduction it was like, holy shit, this is rammed. Yeah. And it's getting busier and busier, and then it's like, okay, to take the stage and look back and it's like, oh my god, there's like...
We get up the stairs.
Like, how do you lead? Like, oh my god, this is packed. Like, crazy packed. And it was a bit like, oh my god, is every stage going to be like this? No, it wasn't the case. But I ended up really not liking that stage. No. I really didn't. So we watched a bit of Abduction, who were phenomenal. They sounded great, looked great. Well, not that you could see shit.
I've seen a little bit of it, like tiptoes.
Yeah. But we were kind of like, okay, watch a bit of Abduction, then we're going to walk out and we're going to try and work out what everything is. Find our bearings. And we just couldn't. And we kind of got a little bit stressed out about it, I'll admit. Well, we were like... We tried to sort of stand at the side going, where the fuck is everything?
And because we knew we wanted to see Boss Keloid, but like, well,
that was it. We were like, we're running at time and we wanted to make sure we were in early to see Boss Keloid. We didn't want to miss them. We were so confused. Ended up talking to some people. Didn't really help either. No. And it was like, where is everything? How did we eventually work out where the Eyesore merch stage was?
I think we literally just looked through.
You found an old post on Twitter. Which had a map from like 2015.
We're like, oh, it can't have changed that much.
No, so we looked at that and we're like, oh my god, the Eyesore merch stage is to the left from the main entrance. Yeah. And then afterwards we found the main stage was to the right. Yeah. And we're like, why is there nothing saying that? Like, we were baffled. For example, we could not work out for ages what was like the Eyesore merch stage and the Tone MGMT because the Tone MGMT were downstairs and it's written pyramid everywhere. Yeah. And we're like,
what does this mean?
What? And I get like that's the branding for the union, but stick a poster up, man. Yeah. Like give us some
signpost.
Just a signpost in that main foyer saying this way for this stage, this way for this stage. It seemed like it was like expected. You just knew. Yeah. And we really didn't. And I said we were a bit like, what the fuck is going on? When we did eventually work everything, we were like, all right, fine, let's go to Boss Keloid.
Yeah.
And in there, that's where I'm going to bring up the next criticism, which is the bars. So.
Yeah, having it, it's obviously like set up for events.
Yeah, every stage has bars.
Yeah.
Which sounds great, except they're not really. What they are is a table and spirits and some cans from a packet. It's not a bar. And that is incredibly limited. Yeah. And we were like, oh, we want to watch Beast Boss Keloid. That bar at the back was the actual bar in the foyer area. Super, super popular. Yeah. Super, super busy all the time. Yeah. Thankfully, like, you know, we're from London. We know how to get a drink. Yeah. So we never really waited too long, that kind of thing. And everyone was really polite for the most part. Again, another thing I'll say, like carrying on from Badger for something like that. Thank you for your hospitality, your kindness, the friendliness. I didn't run into anybody that was a dickhead. Chatted to a few people. It was quite nice. It was just a good time. It was good. Yeah. It was a good vibe.
Yeah, because I think when we went to go down and see Hell Ripper, tried to see Hell Ripper, I was talking to someone there and he said, yeah, I really want to see this band, but I'm not going to be able to do that. And it was kind of like just sort of frustration. I said, yeah, it's our first one and I don't really like this kind of stage.
It was a very good environment. It helped calm me down. Environment helped calm me down after the stressiness of not knowing where the fuck we were going. So that was really, really cool. But yeah, so like we ended up like going, we didn't want to leave to miss Boss Keloid, but we wanted a drink. So we made the stupid mistake of going back to our youth and buying a couple of cans of Red Stripe. We'll say for a student union, not exactly student-y prices, was it, guys?
$4.50 for like, not even cold.
Not a cold can of Red Stripe. And as soon as I took that first mouthful, I was like, this was a terrible idea. Yep. I should have just not had a drink at all. We did make that mistake again. We decided after that, no, we'd missed the beginning of a band to get a nice drink and then enjoy ourselves in that fashion. Because it was just the two of us as well, you know. We won't walk around in a crowd or anything like that. But yeah, Boss Keloid. Immense. Immense. I will again appraise all the stages for this. The sound was excellent. I never noticed any issues with sound, and I reckon that I Saw Merch stage was my favourite stage in the end.
Yeah, no, the one we saw Memoriam on.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, the Tony MGMT was my favourite one.
I like that whole sort of cinema-esque thing that seemed to come across like the curtains, like very stage show like. And Boss Keloid, of course, are amazing band live, amazing band full stop. And hear these songs played live. It's both enthralling, confusing, wacky, energetic, still great music. Like, you're never quite sure how you should be reacting when moving to them. Yeah. And every shift is obviously completely off tone at times. It's what makes them such a special, special band. They're very, very watchable, very, very listenable, you know?
Yeah, and they never come across as like elitist, like, because obviously like when you go into like proggier bands, people might expect a bit more like, I don't know, a bit more stuffy.
Yeah.
I don't know if you understand what I'm kind of coming from that.
But I guess what you mean.
He kind of, when he comes across, so he comes like his northern accent and he's just really enjoying it, and it's just good fun to watch.
It was nice. After only watching a few songs of Abduction and not really knowing where the fuck we were going, hearing Cryptic Shift briefly, and obviously missing Mountain Call, it was nice just to be able to watch a full set from a band, and that kind of bled into band we did want to see. We did want to see Urn. They were in the Cult Never Dies stage, but having quickly established what that stage was like and the popularity of Urn, which is brilliant, of course, we were like, we're never going to get down there, are we? Like, we're going to go down there and it's going to be rammed and we're just going to give up and then end up... So what we decided to do instead was go get a drink, and we just went and watched Eval on the main stage. We found it then. I do love the main stage. Massive, massive room, really far back, but far back still sounded great, still could see, really, really liked it. And we watched basically half to 3/4 of Eval after we got a drink.
I really enjoyed them.
Yeah, Eval are on a tear at the moment. I think Eval are doing arguably the strongest shit of their career at the moment, and live they're smashing it. And this was another great set. You know, if you watched our Bloodstock review, we were very enthusiastic about Eval at Bloodstock, and this has helped it again. We're just like, that wasn't a one-off. This was great. Yeah.
That stage reminded me of the Ballroom a little bit. Quite flat, sound stage in the middle, quite nice, a bit more of a raised stage. So yeah, I really liked that. As it was kind of not having been there before, and like when we first got thrown into the business, I was like, this is not going to be enjoyable for all these kind of bands. But it felt really open. It felt packed in.
No, I think across the stages, it's up to you. You can make it. It depends what kind of person you are. If you're like, I want to be in every pit, you're going to have to fight your way through people, you know, and that's not always going to be most fun. I was happy enough to stand at the back
Yeah.
and watch. That was more enjoyable to me. I've got a drink in hand. I don't feel like I'm getting squashed around. I don't feel getting knocked. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
And because of how busy it constantly was, and don't get me wrong, it wasn't crazy. Like if you were moving around, you know, you weren't getting stuck on stairways. People were. It was flowing, moving, flowing.
And I think that if you go into that mind frame of look, you're gonna have to go with the flow of things.
Yep.
Like you can't be. It's not like a
You
festival.
can't be legging and running around trying to save your band. Yeah.
It's not like a festival where like you literally can bomb it across a field and it's pretty clear running, pretty clear going.
Yeah.
This is like, okay, you have to go work with the building. You might find little cut arounds. There was a couple we found where
we found a little sort of part where like, oh, we can go around here
and
avoid that awkward bit there. Yeah. So there are little things. And I imagine if you're a regular, like you've learned a lot over the years. Like you've learned how to be here and be there and stuff like that. And more power to you on that front. You know, our first experience, we picked up a few little things as we went along as well.
Yeah.
We ended up watching some of Bosk. Yeah,
I enjoyed them.
Yeah, I really enjoyed them as well. I thought they were doing quite good.
I think they're touring next year. No, I'm getting my B bands mixed up. There's a band called Bayist.
Oh yeah,
they're the ones touring, not Bob.
Yeah, it's not them. Yeah,
Yes.
they were playing off against Video Nasties, and we decided this was a good example. We decided to chance it, and then go right. Let's go watch a bit of Video Nasties as well. We went down to the Cult Never Die stage. It was like, well, this is packed.
It's the wrong stage.
We sort of stood. Yeah, it felt like the wrong. But we sort of stood right at the back. Watched about 2-3 songs to the end. We watched to the end of the set, didn't we? Yeah. And it's Video Nasties again. They were amazing. Yeah. And looked like the crowd was shot into them, which is again awesome to see.
Yep.
Green Lung obviously had to pull out. Member got COVID.
Yeah.
So they were replaced by Saval Bard. Seen Saval Bard. You've seen Saval. Us at Bloodstock and things like that. Mm-hmm. So we decided to do Gamma Bomb instead at the MGMT.
New band for me. I've seen them before.
Thought they were great.
Yeah,
they were fucking great. Like at the time, they were probably the band I loved the most. Like it was like, okay, this was going, yeah.
And I think quite a nice view for them as well. I remember we were standing at the Tony MGA.
Yeah, the lowest part at the wall at the back, so really good view, really strong sound, good people around us. That was good. Gamma Bomb were fantastic. This is why we decided to change up it. So originally we kind of left like a space later on of about an hour and a half, 2 hours. We were going to leave. Yeah. And we were going to go into the city, sit down and have a meal. Yeah. We're adults. I know it sounds silly like that, but gone are the days where I'm going to go from all day drinking pale ale and vodka Red Bulls, not eating or grabbing a snack and whatever, and then suffering for it. So we were like, no, let's be sensible about it. Let's eat something in the morning. We had a quick McDonald's in the morning. Yep. Then in the afternoon, early evening, should I say, we were going to go and have a proper meal, sit down and eat, you know? And the plan was it was going to be roughly between 7 and like 9 when we were going to do that. But after Gamma Bomb, which probably leading up to about, it was about 5:30, 7, we were both beginning to feel the hunger and get a little cranky with each other because it was like we were both hungry.
Drinking quite
and we were drinking a lot then. So we were like, okay, let's go have a look at this whole like area down the bottom where you can eat. Yeah. And we went down there and I was just like being really miserable about it. It was like, I don't want to eat a stupid shitty wrap. Yeah. You know, I was a bit annoyed about it because you seemed like you were doing it. And the problem was, it's like that part of me goes, I don't want to miss bands. I don't want to miss bands because I've got to stop and eat. Yeah. I know that. Like,
but then the queue went, because when I went earlier, the queues weren't that bad. But then I heard that like there was quite popular people to wait ages for noodles and things like that. So we did make a right call on that one.
Yeah. So we left. We left and went into the. So we didn't go too far. We found a great pizza place and sat down. And we just sat down and had dinner, and it was chilled out. And it was relaxed. And it was really, really nice. But unfortunately, we did end up missing a band I really wanted to see there, and it was Contra. It is what it is. Yeah. So yeah, full bellies. We went back, you know, and Godflesh. Yeah, Godflesh is what
I really enjoyed what I heard them.
It didn't.
That's so noisy. People at the front were like, "Yeah, they were."
Yeah, we were quite far back for them. Yeah. I'll be honest, it didn't really resonate with me. It didn't. I see they're very popular. It was very heavy, but it didn't really resonate with me. Like I don't know, maybe because of the food and coming back and having another drink, I wasn't quite back into the swing of things. But yeah, it didn't quite connect with me as much as it maybe did with others. You know.
Yeah, we didn't see much of them anyway, but yeah, it was nice to kind of. I've never seen them before, so I think they've been going around for quite a while as well. So I think they always seem to have that kind of band on the things. Next year they've got Ministry, haven't they? So they do kind of dip into
Ministry are headliner, aren't they? So,
so they do kind of dip into other areas, don't they? So yeah, it's
range. We did consider going to see Winter Phylith in the Cult Never Dies stage. But again, we were like, oh man, they're going to be so popular. And now having read what I did online, I'm glad we didn't.
Apparently the sound was
Technical issues, they were like 20 minutes late, and then it was really didn't sound great at all. So I'm kind of glad we didn't do that. Instead, we went and checked out Regarde les Hommes Tombe, a band neither of us knew anything about. We were like, you know what? They were playing opposite Conan. We were like, we know Conan. We saw Conan recently. Bloodstock, let's go see a band we know nothing about.
Yeah, it's a point of a festival, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's like, it's black metal, atmospheric black metal. It's going to be good. Yeah. It was nice. We had a good position. And it was really good.
Yeah, I enjoyed them.
At first. We watched half of it.
Yeah.
And then decided to go check out the rest of Conan.
Yeah.
Because it was really good. And it never got bad or anything like that. But I think it stopped feeling as impactful that it initially did.
I feel like his vocals could have been a bit higher as well.
Okay, yeah.
So that took away from it a little bit. It was noisy as hell, but the vocals could have been a bit higher on that.
Yes, so we watched half of that, and then we left, grabbed a drink, and watched the rest of Conan. As much as we could from the balcony. Yeah. That was Conan. Was Conan. They were great. They sounded great. Yeah, it was really good. No complaints there.
No.
Then we had a choice. We were like Paradise Lost playing Gothic and Fall, which neither of us really fancied, if I'm honest. Yeah. Or Hell Ripper. We were like, yeah, let's do Hell Ripper. Let's get downstairs. Maybe we'll be able to see them. Fuck that. Yeah. Here was the best example. It's why we didn't like this stage. Is we went down to Hell Ripper, and there was no chance. No. There was nothing. There was nowhere we could go. No. We walked down from the stairs and around the corner past the accessibility ramp that was packed. Yeah. So if you want to get down there, if you needed to be accessible, you weren't. No. We walked around the corner past the toilets. It was just a wall. It was a wall of people. Yeah. And you're like, what are you going to do? Tell people, excuse me. People ain't going to want to move for you because they want to see the band themselves. So we were just like, this ain't going to work. Not for us.
I'm just trying to think what you could use at Area 4, because obviously it's a nice space to use. I don't know what you could use it for, and just have everything on the Tone MGMT stage.
I don't know. I mean, it's been we're not going to tell you how to run this festival. You've been doing it for fucking longer. But man, we just did not like that stage. No. We just didn't. And because of that, many bands who wanted to see it, we ended up missing because it was like, fuck going down there. Because even that's the problem for me as well, is even if you did get down there early, you have to get down early enough to miss other music potentially. But also then you're just going to get rammed in. And that's like, because like normally like if you don't want to feel uncomfortable or packed in, you go stand at the back. Yeah. This stage ain't possible. The back is outside, the fucking doors and outside.
And it's weird because the bands that are there, I'm not saying like smaller band, like it should be all smaller bands, but they all seem quite well established.
Yeah, that's
They've got quite big fan bases. So if I'm guessing another reason why they're moving, not so maybe that stage would be a bit more accessible.
But then I feel like Damnation overall didn't have like the normal thing where you have like lower tier bands, mid tier bands, top tier bands. It all feels like everyone was around mid tier bands with one or two what's considered top tier, e.g. the likes of Carcass and Paradise Lost. Yeah. But majority is all like the mid tier, like solid big audiences, can play big stages and stuff like that. You know, they didn't feel like you had that sort of levels.
It's a shame because obviously I know that people have smaller stages to kind of build up excitement and stuff. So when you go like download and things like that, and like the Jaeger stage is a good example. The Jaeger Master stage, tends to be a lot of bands on there that get a lot of buzz and people swarm there and see the bands. But here, we've seen Winter Fliff, like Ern have been making big waves. Yeah. So like to put them there was a bit like, we already know straight off it's going to be busy.
We just didn't think it was fair, if we're honest. Yeah. And I'm going to use this as well. This is what puzzles me. Obviously, two stages are playing at the same time. Why was it main stage and the small stage being the two that were playing off each other? Yeah. So if you don't want to see what's on the main stage, your only option is the smaller stage. Yeah. Whereas the other two were playing off like that didn't quite make sense to me either.
I didn't get that.
Yeah, but by the by anyway. Yeah. So Hell Ripper was a no go. It was a no go for us. So we were kind of, well, what are we going to do? Let's grab a drink and let's choose Year and All Out Memoriam. And we sat on a Memoriam. Yeah. Again, we're like, neither of us have seen them. This could be fun.
I'm sure they have played it on festivals before.
But we've never seen them. They were Bloodstock, but we didn't see them.
No.
Nope, we didn't see them. So this was an opportunity to see them. And really glad we did. Band of the day for us. Definitely. We both agreed it this morning as well. Band of the day. That was great fun. Really, really watchable. We had a great view front of the balcony. Yeah. It was an hour that kind of just flew by. It was just great fun.
Everything that set was great, apart from the guy that was collapse at the bottom of the stairs.
Oh yeah. So we suddenly just looked down, and a guy was just sparko at the bottom of the stairs, and like security and everyone was over super
like
quick.
shot, yeah.
We were like, what the fuck? And all we see is like a pool of blood coming from his head, and we're like, oh my god! And he looked like he was, he looked like he was dead.
Yeah.
Now we've since found out, we've since seen, I think his partner commented on a Facebook post about it, that he's okay, mild concussion, because we saw him come around and be helped up.
Yeah.
But for a period there, we were like, oh my fucking god, we didn't see how it happened.
No.
I presume he fell down the steps.
Maybe.
We didn't see it.
Yeah.
The only thing I would say about Memoriam set is that by the end, that crowd had emptied. Like people had left to make sure they could get a good spot for Carcass, and it was half full by the end.
Yeah.
But you know, we just had a blast.
Yeah, and
we
they
really
looked
did.
like they were enjoying it as well. And I think a lot of these bands, it didn't feel pretentious. It just felt like they were just loving what they were doing.
For a lot of bands, it's been a while. Boss
Yeah.
Killer was a good example. 2 years, they said.
Yeah.
So good for them, you know. But yeah, it was one of those really enjoyable things. It kind of set us up nicely. We were like, well, there's one band left. It was like, oh, we're going to see Esoteric in the Cult Never Dies stage. All right.
Yeah,
No, or go see Carcass in the main stage. And I'm not the biggest Carcass fan, and I've seen Carcass live, but it's like, oh, well, we'll just grab another drink. We were basically doing 2 drinks at a time at this point. So we were pretty freaking wrecked by this point. But it was a good wrecked. I was feeling good, I was having fun, I was tired, but it felt satisfying. We felt like we'd seen plenty of bands, you know, in between this, you know, we were hanging around the merch area, picking up a bit of merch. Oh, if anybody found a Boss Keloid t-shirt lying on the floor anywhere, it's all yours. She lost it. She bought it and then lost it.
I was so excited. I was like, I've not got a Boys Keloid merch, like any merch of theirs. I was like, I don't want to carry a vinyl. I'll buy a t-shirt. I was so happy. And I got back and I was like, I've got my Earn t-shirt.
Yeah.
Where's my... Oh, it's
lost it.
Gone. So, yeah.
Yeah, so if you found it, it's all yours. But
yeah.
Of course, Carcass was packed.
Yeah.
It was, but we were cool. We stood way back, and sounded great.
Yeah.
Really, really enjoyed it. Yeah,
nice, clean sound. It was, it felt a lot more relaxed.
Yeah, it was a solid Carcass set. You know, just lots of hits, lots of good songs. Sounded great, and it was just like, oh shit, it's done. Huh.
Yeah.
We briefly considered sort of staying, like sort of, let's stay maybe because there's an after party thing, and we found that was at the MGMT thing. But you know what stopped us doing that? Do you remember what stopped us doing that? The drinking situation. We were like, oh, you know, we'll grab a beer, like from the nice bar, and we'll go down there and sort of maybe if we're going to play some metal, we might see some people we know, have a chat and all that kind of thing. And then we were like, oh, it's closed. Oh, does that mean we're going to have to buy like cans of Red Stripe and shit? From that little bars. And we were like, nah, let's leave it then. Let's just head back to the hotel room and
we'd had a fair amount.
Yeah, we'd had enough drink. We were done. We were done, you know.
But I don't know how people coped with doing the day before, because I didn't realise that Raging Speedhorn, when I looked back, like that started at like 7, 8 o'clock, and now Raging Speedhorn didn't come on till 12:05.
Well, you pace yourself. You be a sensible adult, don't you? Like we did. Like when we went and got something to eat. It's only after we came back we were like, we need to catch up now. Let's do 2 drinks at a time.
I think I would have liked to have done the Friday as well. I think Friday night would have been good. I really think so.
I'm not sure. I mean, I'm not sure, but it's reflection now. We're back. We're back in London. We're recording this from our home. Overall, it was a great experience. It was the first time we've ever been to Damnation. It's I can't say it certainly won't be the last time, but then it's the last time regardless, because it's not going to be here.
Yeah.
In theory, it should never come back here again. Obviously, if it was to go to Manchester and I guess go badly or go wrong, then it might rethink it.
But I think it was the same teams.
But for the most part...
Yeah, I think it was the same teams behind it. I wouldn't see it going... I mean, ticket sales might not be... It's weird, because obviously because COVID wasn't... it was a bit of an abnormal thing, which may have boosted numbers. But then again, it might have been going that way anyway, and we only had like an extra couple of hundred people that, like us, took a punt on it.
I'll imagine it's not going to be like, wherever they're going to be in Manchester, I can't remember, I doubt it's going to be like thousands and thousands of extra.
No.
Do you know what I mean? It's
just
that kind of aspect
like the layout of...
But that's irrelevant anyway. It's, you know, about what it might or might not be. It was a thoroughly enjoyable experience. It was great to be there. Had we been with a bigger crowd, I think that might have been a bit harder.
Yeah.
And a bit more stressy, because obviously a lot of us trying to get in, whereas it felt like because it was just me and you, we were able to sort of stand in the right spots and stuff like that. Yeah. But truth be told, I didn't love the whole student union setup.
No.
I just didn't. No. You know, the confusion at the start where we couldn't find the stages and things like that. But there are elements I did love. I love the merch setup, you know,
Yeah.
big champions. We talked in a Bloodstock review about how Bloodstock is getting the merch side for the bands wrong.
Oh, yeah.
And then we went to Slam Dunk and saw Slam Dunk create their own tent with bands selling stuff and all that.
Nice.
And then we come here and it's like, oh, there's all these, the first thing you're walking into
Yeah.
is merch.
Yeah.
That's it. All around in these tables, all the bands. That's incredible. I love that. I love that. And to be honest, take Cult Never Dies stage out of it. That really was just the stage we didn't like.
Yeah. I mean, you could have done like the merch down that area.
Well, yeah.
But then you don't go through it, so it's not as accessible, is it really? So
No.
forget that. But
It just wasn't. It just felt proper, like scurried away in the bottom, the basement.
Yeah.
Here you go. A load of bands you like, but shit, you're not going to be able to see them unless you get there. Like I said, unless you basically miss other bands and wait for the others. There is no, and we were told this beforehand. And it's not that I disbelieve people, but it's like, oh, they can't be that bad. But there is no going, I'm going to go see this band, I'm going to go see that band, this band, and all that. It's not the case.
No.
You are going to have to make decisions. Clashes exist for a reason, obviously, to stop everyone doing that. But I feel like it was just too busy at times, and maybe it would have been better to have 3 stages clashing instead of 2.
yeah.
So that you really spread the crowd out a bit more, that kind of thing. But that's reflection on that kind of thing. Overall, no complaints.
Yeah.
Great time.
Yeah.
We just didn't see enough music that we wanted to.
Yeah.
We saw as much as I feel we could.
I'd be interested in seeing what the Manchester, because the atmosphere, the quality of the bands, it was great.
Yeah.
So like, I think it's value enough, and what we found quite an easy way of getting down there. We know roughly like the areas we want to be staying in for these kind of places, and I'd definitely do this again.
Yeah, no. And when it comes to the bands, we didn't see a single bad one.
No.
It's simple as that. Memoriam, Boss Keloid, Carcass. These are some of the ones that I thought were like top tier, really, for us, like the best sort of sounds. Yeah. And even the ones we really saw brief bits of, like Abduction and all that, sounded immense too.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was just, it was a great time. It's going to be one of those that when I look back on again, I'm going to be like, oh man, like, I'm glad I went to Damnation. I'm glad I experienced it. I'm glad I got to see what this infamous place, that's cool. Like, before they left the Leeds University Union, we got to see
how it all works.
How it was, and what has been fairly a famous event in the metal calendar in this country, you know? So that was really, really cool. Were you there? Who did you enjoy? Let us know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. You can check us out on gbhbl.com, as well as on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and Tumblr. Go to Patreon to help us out over there. That's patreon.com/gbhbl, as well as Big Cartel, where you can find some of our merchandise. We have a podcast running on SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts. And of course, if you like this video, do us a favour, hit the subscribe button and help the channel grow. Games, horror and heavy metal. What else is life for?